Black, and today we're going to talk all about plateaus, how to make them, break them, and shake them. So today I'm going into week number 5, day 35 of my 50-pound fat loss journey. Pretty cool. So the first 4 weeks went smooth as silk, smoothly, easily, getting it done. Yes, we'll do a quick recap here of what was going on. So far I've lost between 17 and 21 pounds of actual fat, 20 pounds on the scale, 0.75 inches on the neck, 6 inches on the waist, 6 inches on the belly, 3 inches on the hips, 5.5 on the arms, and 1.5 on the thighs. And on track to lose 50 in 18, but then the unthinkable happened. I started getting a massive amount of brain fog. My body was getting cold. So this is a really common thing that happens to people when their body tries to sort of down-regulate the metabolism and conserve some energy. The old noggin up there is accountable for 20% of your total caloric burn in the day, so what better way to reserve calories than to start shutting down the brain power? Only problem is we kind of need that brain power. So how do we bust through these problems, bust through these plateaus? Also, I was feeling like cold even though it was warm in the room, which again, body temperature, creating body heat, burns a lot of calories, right? So your body will naturally sometimes do these things to reserve calories, to preserve calories. So I'm going to get into the details on what to do if you find yourself in this situation, how to plateau correctly, and how to overcome the problem of age when it comes to metabolism. Is it really more difficult to lose weight when you are older? It can be, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to tell you why it becomes more difficult as you get older to lose weight and what you can do to turn it around. I'm also going to be talking about busting plateaus. I'm going to be talking about some body realness here as we get it going. So strap in. If this is your first in this series, it's a good place to start as any, but the previous videos in my weight loss journey do go over many of the things that have happened up to this point, including details on the meal plan that I'm using, how to take measurements, and other sorts of Q&A and problem solving that goes on when you're losing weight, because it's a hot mess sometimes, right? So I'm going to help you out with all of this. Let's get back to the screen here. So this was the day 1 versus day 28 picture here. So the problems that I was having on in days 21 through 28, during that week, I started to feel the brain fog, started to feel cold, even when it was warm out. And there's a couple of solutions that we can have to these problems. Now, the first solution, solution A, would be to gradually ramp up light activity. So this would mean things like walking, not heavy lifting, not anything too crazy, like walking, swimming, something that you can do with half a brain, because that's kind of literally what you've got at that point. And sometimes just gradually ramping up the activity. Maybe you've been doing, 8,000 steps and we want to ramp it up to 10,000 or 12,000, gradually over the course of weeks or days, you can ramp up. Option B is to take a plateau week and increase intensity. I am a much bigger fan of option B, mostly because I'm really impatient. I like fast results, and I have a secret trick up my sleeve that we can only do with option B. So that's what we're going to talk about primarily today. So 2 ways you can bust through that brain fog slash feeling cold problem, provided you are getting enough calories, by the way. So on this meal plan, I am actually getting enough calories for my general activity, for a workout 3 times per week, for the walking. There's enough calories in there, but at some point, just being at a caloric deficit of 300 to 500 calories, my body decided, nope, that's enough. If you are a member of the Nerd Gym, it is the Power Up meal plan we are using for this grand experiment, my 50-pound weight gain and then weight loss journey of 2020 to 2021 here. Okay, so back to it. We want to what we don't want to do, well, you don't want to do if you run into one of these problems, one of these plateaus, or if you just stop losing weight, we do not want to suddenly increase intensity without also increasing calories. If you're going to increase intensity of your workouts, you must also increase the calories. We don't want to cut more calories. If you cut more calories, you can actually make the problem worse, not better. Also, no cutting carbs, no fasting. So if you are following a good basic meal plan, like the Power Up meal plan that's providing you enough calories with enough of a deficit to lose fat, you're not doing yourself any favors by ratcheting way down. You're just going to encourage your body to further conserve energy because you're sending a message to your body that you're going through, I don't know, some kind of starvation, like there's a problem, and your body's like, well, who knows how long this famine's going to last. We better try to conserve energy and just make her really sleepy and sluggish and cold all the time. That's no fun. We don't like that. Okay. So yeah, no cutting carbs, no fasting. And we do not want to increase our calories beyond 300 to 500 per day. So we also don't want a massive caloric increase, because what we end up with then, if we are on an actual weight loss journey, we're going to start gaining back on at that point. If we do start amping it up beyond the 300 to 500, then you're going to be in the danger zone of yo-yo dieting and relapsing on the weight really relatively quickly, and we don't want that. Okay. So again here, day 1 versus day 28, looking pretty good. I did not take pictures this week because there's nothing new to report. My measurements are literally the same from day 28 to day 35. My weight on the scale bounced around up and down a couple of pounds, but the everything else is exactly the same. The neck measurement, waist measurement, belly, hips, biceps, thigh, calves, everything is exactly where it was a week ago, which is fine. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment here. So this is kind of an example of overall what I was eating leading up to the problem time. And this was, like I said, plenty enough calories. I was having carbohydrates, proteins, vegetables for breakfast and lunch. I was having protein and vegetables for 2 snacks per day. And then protein, fat, and vegetables for dinner, and lots of pickles and tea and non-caloric beverages as well. So that's the basic meal plan, y'all. Like I said, I do go into details on that meal plan in previous videos. And again, I'm doing these mostly for members of the Nerd Gym. If you're not a member of the Nerd Gym, you can go ahead and join at www.thenerdgym.com. You'll get a lot out of watching these videos. Even so, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe below, and let me know what your diet struggles are, and I will be here to help you. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. So how do okay, here's the deal. I am feeling cold. I'm feeling lethargic. I've got the brain fog. I'm like barely getting by, and I'm like, okay, I know objectively I'm eating enough food because I'm doing a food journal, right? I'm not forgetting anything. I'm not forgetting to eat at this point. So what do? What I'm going to do is that option B, which is I'm going to increase my caloric intake by 300 to 500 calories, and I'm going to increase the intensity of my workouts a lot. Okay, so it's very important that you do these two together. So a 300 to 500 calorie increase, it's not that much. It's adding in an extra snack or an extra meal. So like one day I added in cookies as my extra 300 to 500 calories, or wine, or a can of soup. It really doesn't take much to go off plan, which is why when somebody tells me, oh, I stayed on plan mostly, I'm not sure why I'm not losing weight. It's because that mostly, even if it's just one little snack per day, can actually top you off into a plateau week relatively quickly. And this is like the upside and the downside to the pump meal plan, because in general, you're not going to be hungry on pump meal plan. You might be grouchy because you're missing eating a lot of junk food. Grouchy is fine, but at least you won't be hungry on this meal plan. You don't have to contend with that. But the reason you're not hungry is because overall it's a high volume, low calorie meal plan, and you are getting enough calories for your daily functions. So it doesn't take much to turn it from a weight loss program into a weight gain program. And no, it does not go any faster if we cut more calories. I want to make that perfectly clear. If you cut calories too deep, you really send your body into that starvation mode where it just wants to hold on to everything it gets. Okay, So it doesn't take much, just adding a little bit of calories per day. And again, you can see why I like this option better, because I love food and I love wine and cookies. So why wouldn't I opt for this? I also love working out really hard. And this is going to be tying into why people tend to have a harder time losing weight as they get older. So pay close attention. Use your plateau wisely. Invest in more muscle for future metabolic benefits. So to be perfectly clear, when I say increase intensity, this is not to just burn off the 300 to 500 calories we added. Absolutely not. The increase of intensity is to stimulate muscle growth. This is what we want. This is what's going to raise your metabolism. This is what's going to overcome the problem of aging. And I mean that on so many levels. Okay, plateau wisely, invest in more muscle mass. So if you've been kind of like petering around with your workouts, like, oh, I'm going through the motions, it's hard, but like, I'm maybe going at 75% of my maximum capacity and not 85% of my maximum capacity. It's time to step it up during this plateau week. If you spend your calories just to burn them off, you gain nothing. If you spend your calories on muscle growth, you gain a faster metabolism. And that is what we want, dear friends, a faster metabolism. Not to mention all of the benefits. If you are doing strength training and you are increasing the intensity on your strength training, either by increasing the weight, the time under tension, or the body weight exercise variations to create more intensity, you will not only gain a faster metabolism, but also better bone density, also better connective tissue density, better resilience. Okay, there's lots of good reasons. And for those of you who are members of the Nerd Gym and wondering, does this include all rep ranges? Yes, it includes all rep ranges. The intensity is how hard are we working in those rep ranges? If we're shooting for 10 reps, could we have done 15? If we could have done 15, we either should have done 15 or we should have put more weight on it or done a variation where we could only do 10. So in other words, we really want to max out our ability to do what we're doing on our strength training reps. And we do this on a plateau week so that we have the actual calories to facilitate muscle recovery. To that end, you don't need to, if you're going on the pump meal plan and you're adding another 300 to 500 calories, it honestly doesn't matter where it comes from, because the base pump meal plan has enough protein for muscle rebuild to begin with. Those extra calories are just going to the energy output required to invest that intensity to in turn stimulate muscle growth. Okay, I hope you're with me. This is one of the nerdier rants I've gone on in a while in these videos. So if you do have questions, like I said, pop them in the comments below here. Okay, so where were we? Haha. After age 35, you will lose between 0.5 and 1% of your muscle mass annually unless you engage in regular physical activity to prevent it. Okay, let's break this down a little bit. This is amazing. Like, think about this. Past age 35, so let's say you're 45. If you have not engaged in regular physical activity, that means you may have lost up to 10% of your muscle mass, which means that you're going to have more than a 10% slower metabolism at age 45 than you did at age 35. Okay? That's how the old ball crumbles, or whatever the phrase is. And that's just accounting for, like, if you're remaining regularly physically active, you will maintain, okay? That means not taking weeks off or months off or years off, okay? That means just tootling along and doing it, like, consistently. Now, the good news is, they used to think that you couldn't gain muscle mass and bone density past age 35, but you can. New scientific studies have determined, well, I guess they're not new at this point, like 10-year-old scientific studies have determined that yes, indeed, you can, in fact, gain muscle mass and gain bone density as you get older. If you are a person who identifies with being female or femme, don't worry about suddenly blowing up with muscles. It is very difficult to gain muscle mass quickly, and you can ratchet it down at any point. Also, remember that if you're working on just strength and working those intense high weight or high intensity low reps, 1 to 5 reps, you're not going to get all muscly. The hypertrophy range is 8 to 12. Okay. So, where were we? Okay. By engaging in regular resistance training and following a diet that includes adequate amounts of protein. Okay, so here's the other thing. It's not just have you been active. It's also, have you been active and have you been giving your body the resources required to actually build muscle, tissue, and bone density. That is protein, okay? Whether you're vegetarian or vegan or omnivore, it doesn't matter where you get your protein from, but getting enough protein for these things to happen is crucial for maintaining muscle mass. All right, so if you are a person who has gone through a typical life that has its ups and downs, chances are you haven't been working out consistently for the past 20 years, if you're an older person. Chances are you haven't been doing the adequate amount of protein every day for the past 20 years, okay? Chances are very likely that you're not getting enough protein and not getting enough exercise for your body to maintain and or increase metabolism, which is why it is harder for most older people to lose body fat. Yes, you don't have the same metabolism of a teenage boy. You know why? Because the teenage boy has not yet begun to lose his muscle mass, and you have. But there is a way out of this, and that is increasing the intensity with which you execute your strength training workouts. Not your cardio workouts. Cardio isn't going to do it, folks. Cardio is wonderful. I love cardio. It's good for your heart, good for your lungs, good for your circulatory system. I think everyone should do cardio. However, if we are going to increase our metabolism, we are talking strength training. We are talking intense reps. In other words, if we're going to go for a 15 rep set, we couldn't do 20. That's what we mean by intensity, and continually challenging ourselves. Many times when I speak to older adults, they will say, oh yeah, I joined a Pilates class and it was super challenging at the beginning, and then a few months in, I got really good at it. And what they mean is it got really easy. They stopped challenging themselves, and guess what? As soon as that happens, as soon as you stop challenging yourself, that's when the plateauing of muscle increase starts, and that is not what we want. We want to make sure that we are continually improving ourselves whenever we get the chance. This is not to say you have to strength train every day, okay? 3 days a week is sufficient for most people. 3 days strength training, whole body strength training per week is enough for most people to gain the appropriate amount of muscle mass if they're putting the intensity in. Okay, so yes, that is why it gets harder to lose body fat when you get older, because you have less muscle mass and a lower overall metabolism. So to recap here, if you find yourself in a situation where you are maybe getting some kind of brain fog, or where your weight loss has stagnated, or your recovery is bad, that is a great time to solve that problem with A or B, either gradually ramping up light activity to restart your metabolism, or take a plateau week and increase intensity. Like I said, I'm a much bigger fan of the solution B, because that is going to, number one, be more fun, and number two, be an investment in your future self. So yeah, that is this week of my my weight loss journey. So I didn't lose any weight, didn't gain any weight. I did start a new program, and I am sore as fuck. My God, I am so sore this week. It's gonna be like one of those T-Rex kind of weeks. Oh, okay, I'm gonna use 2 hands to reach to the top of the shelf to get my socks. Oh God, they're heavy. Okay. Now, being that sore, it's not a requirement every single time. I'm not saying that you have to push yourself to be debilitatingly sore. You don't have to push it that far. I just tend to get a little bit overly ambitious. And frankly, working out with intensity helps my mental health as well. If you're a person who tends to get grouchy or depressed or just, have a general malaise sometimes, then working out with intensity can actually really do the trick, getting those endorphins kicking. It takes the place of chocolate. It takes the place of, a lot of the other quick fixes that we typically go to for a mood change. One of the best, fastest mood changes you can go to is getting that intensity. So for my workout right now, it's a short workout. It's not fast. It's warm up. It's 10 minutes as hard as I can on 2 exercises back to back, seeing how fast I can get them done, how many reps I can get done in that time, and then some assistance work after that. So it's not a long workout. It's like 20, maybe 30 minutes tops workout, and it is going to give me the ammunition I need after Christmas to come back at my weight loss journey with another big punch up of rapid weight loss, right? So I hope this was interesting or useful to those of you who are following along with this whole crazy journey, or for those of you who are doing the Power Up meal plan. Like I said, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but you actually made it through to the end of the video, like, I think you're probably a nerd. You should just join the Nerd Gym. We have a hell of a lot of fun. We do live online classes. We do nutrition plans. I help you out with all the nutrition step by step, troubleshooting, all that good stuff. And so, we're doing a 20-pound weight loss challenge for January. I know it can be done because I've done it. And so of all of these people, the meal plan that I'm talking about in these videos, we've used with literally thousands of people over the past years. So yeah, it works like a charm, and I hope that, let me know if you have any questions. Sign up for the Nerd Gym. Tell your friends to sign up for the Nerd Gym, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.